So I thought I found the perfect keyboard. Sleek, premium, backlit, and designed to work perfectly with Apple devices and Windows as well. Or so I thought. The Satechi Slim X2 had everything I was looking for on paper. But after using this keyboard for a week, I had to return it. Why? Why, you ask? Now, this was because of one major flaw. Or two, or three, or maybe the keyboard just didn't work. It was total garbage and trash. Okay, I'm kidding. Let me preface this video by saying this keyboard is actually really amazing. It's one of the best built keyboards I've seen in more recent memory. There are just some specific ways I need a multi-device keyboard like this to work for my workflows, and I can't compromise on any one of those personal needs. So if you're thinking of picking up this keyboard, I would implore you to watch the rest of this video so that you get to see why this keyboard didn't work for me and have a suggestion for a keyboard that may be a better fit for you. So that being said, let's dive in. If you're new to the channel, I'm Seri and I like to do tech reviews on devices that I generally like. There's no rhyme or reason. If it's a tech device and I like it, I will review it. Literally anything you want me to review that's tech related within reasonable budget though, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to review those. Back to the video. So my trusty Logitech MX Keys Mini has been my go-to keyboard since 2021. But after years of heavy use using it something like 8 to 10 hours every day, it eventually gave out on me. Before I got that MX Keys Mini, there was a keyboard that was always at the back of my mind, and it was this Satechi X Slim. And since I've been eyeing that keyboard for a while, the moment just felt right for me to actually get it. But I was also curious to see if this was something that would work well for a Windows user, because once you get the keyboard, you immediately notice that it's for Mac. It doesn't say Windows. Am I excluded? Now, obviously, I didn't eventually keep this keyboard, but that is not to say that this is not a great keyboard. And I want to talk about some of the things that make this keyboard really amazing. The first thing is the build quality. I cannot overstate how amazing the build quality is. I mean, compared to like the Logitech MX Keys Mini or the Apple Magic Keyboard, this is up there. There are no compromises to the build quality. It's made with aluminum frame. The keys are made with good quality plastic. There's nothing about this keyboard that gives you the impression that it's cheap. So that's a good thing. When it comes to the keys themselves, they are evenly spaced. I actually found the key positioning on this keyboard to be somewhat better than what I was used to on the Logitech MX Keys Mini. So that's a plus here. Also, this keyboard is backlit. I generally prefer backlit keyboards because sometimes it's a little bit difficult for me to see the keys clearly. The keyboard being backlit is a non-negotiable feature for me. This also supports multi-device connectivity. I do believe up to 3 devices. So for the most part, a very stable Bluetooth connection. So I thought. I did experience missing keystrokes where I'll type for a bit and I won't say anything on the screen for like a couple seconds. And this was something I almost never experienced on the Logitech MX Keys Mini for the years that I was using it. But even that wasn't what deterred me the most. While still getting there. Now, another thing I did like is the fact that it has dedicated media keys. And this was something that was absent on the Logitech MX Keys Mini. You only had play and pause, and I think volume up, volume down. Here you have the full gamut. Play, pause, next, skip, track, and all that. I always appreciate when a keyboard has the full media control function. Now, a very big part of any keyboard is the typing experience. To be fair, I actually preferred it to the Logitech MX Keys Mini. As much as I love that keyboard, when I would use it for hours on end, I would start to experience pain at my fingertips. It just felt like the keys themselves were too hard, and over time they start to hurt. The damping on the keyboard just felt a bit better and much more comfortable for my fingertips. So I did quite enjoy the typing experience on the Satechi keyboard. So after using this keyboard for about a week, why did I end up returning it? The first reason is the fact that it doesn't have a dedicated wireless receiver. Now, most of these keyboards, a good number of them have a dedicated receiver, and the advantage of this is that it's generally a much more consistent and reliable connection. You're less likely to go into connection drops or missing keystrokes or anything like that, and that might not be a big deal depending on how you're using your devices. So if you're using this on an iPad or your laptop or something like that, because you're always going to have Bluetooth access. Now, I'm using Windows, and if you have a desktop, depending on the type of user you are, from time to time you might have to go into the BIOS settings, and this is where your Bluetooth connection will not work, and I want to use just one keyboard. Satechi does say that this keyboard works in wired mode. Fortunately, I tried it and it didn't quite work the way they explained it to work. It's a set of key combinations you have to press to go into wired mode. When I did it, it still didn't work. When I was in BIOS, it still didn't work. Now, you would say that you don't go into BIOS as much. Why would this be a reason for you to return the keyboard? You don't need it until you do. The day you need it, it becomes a big deal. So just to avoid that, I always want to make sure that my keyboard I'm using has a dedicated wireless receiver, not just because of those scenarios, but just generally for peace of mind in terms of connection stability. Now, the second reason I returned this keyboard is kind of down to the Bluetooth connection issues. I don't know if it's a thing of my specific unit. For example, the Logitech MX Keys Mini, it works almost flawlessly. Sometimes you have those missing keystrokes, but once it stops, it'll work perfectly for days on end, and maybe it'll happen again after like a week or something like that. With this, even though it was fully charged, I would have dropped connections or missing keystrokes more often than I would have expected. I actually got another keyboard that is what I'm now using, and I'm not having any of those key issues, and it's somewhat cheaper than the Satechi. There have been keyboards I've been using within this recent time frame that I've not experienced any of those missing keystroke issues, so I can't really let it slide by. Now, the third reason I'm returning this keyboard might be a little bit more on my end, but it's the key placement. Let me explain. On this keyboard, you notice that they put the FN key to the left of the control key on the left side of the keyboard, and this is a huge annoyance for me. Now, for most people out there, it might not be. If you're used to that kind of keyboard layout, it's fine. But for me personally, any keyboard I have, the control is the only key I want to have on the left side, because I use this last finger to do that. And I tend to not look at my hands when I'm typing, so I just have a muscle memory of where that control key is. For the life of me, I try to train my muscle memory to not hit the function key, and it just made things very frustrating for me. That's the last straw that broke the camel's back for me. I'm kind of nitpicking here. In summary, what am I saying? Is this keyboard a bad keyboard? No. It's very possible that you order this keyboard and have an amazing experience, and you'll be like, what am I even talking about in this video? And I don't understand. I'm just telling you why this particular Satechi X Slim keyboard did not work for me, and I was looking forward to this keyboard just because of the amount of praise I've seen about it online, on YouTube, and so many forums. For the basic fundamental things a keyboard is supposed to do, it does do those things. So the keyboard is not a bad keyboard by any means. If you decide to purchase this keyboard, I have affiliate links on there that's not going to be at any cost to you, but will support the channel a great deal. So if you wanted to know the keyboard I eventually went with, it should be somewhere right here. And if it's not up already, watch some of my other tech reviews down here, and I'll catch you in the next one.